what we want to do is decide. So we can use massage blends neat, right? Mm-hmm. But Ortho Sport is high in phenols, so it can actually cause a massive detox because you're using it with heat. All right, so be mindful that people can have a massive release on Ortho Sport. The Young Living massage blends are fairly pricey. Yeah. What I will tell you is this: if you're going to use it neat, charge accordingly because you'll use you'll use about nearly a third of a bottle on a hot stone massage. The other thing is they're really good blends if you use them neat. Like they really cause the body to relax. They really do what they're meant to do. From a professional perspective of affordability and cost effectiveness, to not be charging nearly $200 for your for your session, then I would recommend those little bottles, and I would just take a third or a little bit, even a quarter out of. So I'd use a quarter of this one and put it in here and top the rest up with carrier oil. It's still going to have a beautiful effect because we're using heat, okay? But I've also done just neat, and people are like drooling out the side of their mouth. So
you'd say about a third, a quarter
to a third. Bottles that it, if that's wonderful, yeah, wonderful.
Same as your oil, dilute.
If you really like them, you might use a third.
No. How about you just use it neat?
I'm going to use it. I am going to use it neat on you, darling. So, Ortho Ease is the same. So it's got like wintergreen in it. So just be mindful. Again, we're using heat. So people on blood thinners, that's going to be a caution one for them. You're definitely going to want to dilute it down.
What one was that? Ortho Ease
and Ortho Sport. But Ortho Sport is high in thyme and oregano, so it's the phenols more so. Dragon Thyme is full of clary sage, so it's a cautionary one for pregnant women. You could still use it diluted. Yes. Sensation, well, it's more of a bedroom massage oil. That's what it was designed for, but you could use it in a massage for people who are maybe disconnected from themselves, just to help bring them back into their body. And the relaxation is beautiful, and the cellulite is fantastic if people are wanting to address cellulite issues. And that heat with the combination of the oils in the cellulite is going to help break down that petrochemical that's built up and causes the cellulite. Yeah.
So that's something we can do with our own stones.
I'm looking at
you can rub your own ass
standing there in my massage room.
All right. So for the purposes of today, if you would like to make a dilution, you can choose any of the oils I've got there, or you can just use hemp oil, whatever you like. So Helen has to have just hemp. So,
and I'll put a couple of oils on.
And I'm not diluting because Peter wants the real deal.
So where are we?
And she's my beautiful friend, so I'm happy to do that.
So you said
that or something.
these are hemp oil?
They are straight hemp oil.
And I can put
You don't use it all.
And you can sell like it. Yeah.
That's entirely.
I'll use all that, won't I?
You will use probably half of that.
Yeah. No, I should have brought.
And I brought more hemp oil to top up for you.
I should have brought mine.
Just sprinkle a few drops on. Yeah,
not oil on that.
When do I do that?
Can you do it? Because I can't. I just realised I'm going to make you mess of that. Can't see what I'm doing.
That's the worst part about it. I don't like massaging. Once I start, I like to take my glasses off. And then I can't see which oil I've got, just in case.
I never thought I'd get to that place, but apparently I have.
I sniff it and still can't tell.
That's interesting.
All right. Now those bottles are little enough that you can rest them along the sides of the body, and it's not going to be a major issue. But I don't know where my little belt went.
Oh, do you want a belt?
But what's really beautiful is when you have the pump and you have the belt on the side, it's literally just a push in the hand and you can coach your hands, okay? So, now, in a hot stone massage, we would normally start on one leg, work up the leg, come to the back, work the whole back, and then that side of whatever arm and leg that matches, then come across here and then work down the body from there, okay? And then when you're taking the stones off, you would take it off from the side that you started on because they'll be the coldest and work your way around the body again, okay? today we're going to start here because I want Kate to be able to see on this video, imagining that we've just finished raindrop and what that's going to look like, all right? So if you want to just unfold. You let me know if you get too cold enough. It'll be gas stove. And then I don't want you ever to pour the oil straight on the person. It's cold and it will make them a bit jumpy. So pour it into your hand.
Okay, Nick.
Rub your hands together so that they get really oily.
My bottle won't unlock.
Oh, it goes around. So all the way, there you go.
You've got to hold it on to.
Yes, you do.
Okay.
That's what
And you've got to prime it. You've got to rub your hands to get the heat going, right?
It's cold hands.
It doesn't really matter. Look how, can you see how early my hands are? Okay. So, imagining that we've just finished raindrop technique,
Yeah.
we're then going to change the flow of energy. So we're going to coat our hands with our oil, whatever it is that we've chosen. In this case, it may be ortho-ease because it comes in the raindrop kit.
Yeah.
And you're going to perform effleurage. So your hands are going to go either side of the spine. You're going to push all the way down across the hips. Now you'll notice that you'll run out of oil by the time you get to the hip. So just put a little bit more on. And this is where it's handy if it's on your hip. Yeah? And so this big sweeping motion that we're doing is what we call effleurage. Karen, you're supposed to be relaxing. I'll show you later. You stop talking and relax. Now you want to do 6 of these. You never want pressure on the spine, but you want to put a nice downward pressure either side of the spine. So think about the erector spinae muscles you use on your basal circles, and then your fingers are going to have pressure running down along there. You're going to sweep out nice and wide over the lower back and the hips, and you're going to pull. Okay, so when we come from here, we're dragging and pulling, all the way back up. Okay. Get some more oil because we're going to do the midline of the body. And again, starting at the neck. Now this time what we're going to do is we're going to come halfway. So remember your 4 sections? You're now scooping around into your second section. And you're going to do 6 there. And let's check pressure. How is that? Beautiful. Yeah, lovely. Yeah, it feels really nice. So you do 6 in each section. Section.
Yeah.
Got nothing to say about that.
So then we do, I've done halfway, then will I go?
Yep. So now we don't need more oil because the back's fairly coated. So from here we're going to go into the top around the scapula here. Yeah. So I'm just showing you what we call basic Swedish effleurage. And I want you to really feel the body, right? So as your heels of your hands come around to the trapezium, pushing with the heels of the hand, and then shifting to the fingers as you come across. Yeah? Once you've done 6, and then the remainder is going to be just here, but what we're going to do is we're going to come down the arms to the elbows and the hands, and then around the outside and back up. So this is where we're going to need more oil for the arms. And I'm happy for you, once your hands are like that, to just coat it gently and then come back into that circular motion. So pushing again with the heels of the hands, coming across the scapula, down and around and back into the neck like this. Can you see the way my fingers, I'm hoping Kate can see that, are coming into the trapezium muscle, turning the hands, I get a bit tricky with it. I actually bring my fingers up, roll my hands so that I can push out. There's no real right or wrong when it comes to effleurage. That's what I love about it.
It's nearly intuitive, isn't it?
Yep. You're just following the line of the body and the muscles. They'll fold under your hands. Okay, so if this was raindrop, we could now get our stones. Okay, and then what we would do with our stones is exactly the same thing, but with the stones in our hands. So you're going to do 6 long sweeps. When you get to the 6, line them up together like this. I'll show you that in a sec, but I want to do the arms next. Okay, and then 6 in that second section. Right, you get to the 6th and you bring your 2 stones up. Okay. So this is where more than 4 stones is better.
Is that on the side of the or that's
No, you actually rest the stone on the spine.
On the spine.
Yep. And then when you take it off, you take it off the same way. So if the 2 stones were like this, you're going to place your hands on top of them and you're just going to do an effleurage sweep and the gentle clank because it signals to the body that the session's coming to a close and you take the stones away. So even though that was frustrating for you, Karen, so the same thing here, if they were sitting like that, you're going to go long sweep, up to the neck, gentle clank, put it.
I thought it was meditative, I liked it.
So I'll show you tapping today, I'll show you clanking, I'll show you sandwiching and all those sorts of things. But I'm going to show you without stones in your hand because the stones can be a bit tricky and they get slippery.
Yeah.
So if you know what you're doing with your hands before the stones, then you'll find your own way once you're holding the stones. Okay? So now what we want to do...
Can I just,
Yep.
sorry, when you're doing, we've just done the effleurage without,
Yep.
and you're waiting for your stones to heaten up. You're then getting your stones and you're actually doing effleurage down the spine without pressure.
Either side.
Either side,
Yep.
right.
So
and then you're leaving the stones.
Yeah.
So the only time they're directly over the spine is when they're sitting there.
When you're
gently placing them. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. No, I got myself confused there, sorry.
So I'm going to show you on this side first. So we're going to take the arm and we're just going to gently drop it down the side. And I always do some extra oil there just so that I can coat both sides.
Thank you.
And I cover the hands as well, don't forget the fingers. If I'd stopped at your wrist, Jodie, you'd have noticed.
Yeah.
You know, it's just, you don't have to do a lot. Peter's really helpful. Look at how rigid her arm goes. Relax. See? She holds a hand there for me so I can do all the fingers. But I don't want her to tense, I want her to relax.
So what are we doing just?
So we're just coating with oil in nice long strokes. Now, the forearm here, people don't actually notice how sore their forearms are until you rub them. So rub your thumb in this sandwiching.
Like your milking cow.
Very much like your milking cow. Thank goodness there's people from the country here.
Anymore.
If they were city slickers from Sydney, they wouldn't find that funny. They'd look at me like, she's strange. And then I just like to pull the oil all the way down along the finger and give the fingers a little pull. And then I'm going to bring her arm back to her side.
And you're not doing anything, I'm doing that. You're supposed to be relaxed.
So there's no particular amount, it's just till you feel the arm is nice and coated. Okay, now what I'm going to show you is what we call petrissage. So petrissage is where we squeeze and manipulate the muscle. Okay, so I'm going to use both of my thumbs to roll over her, but can you see the way I'm pinching her arm as I'm doing it? Everyone see that? Yeah. I'm going to go all the way up, but when we get to the elbow, I want you to go right around the elbow bone, especially in here, because we have meridian lines here where we hold energetic blocks. So it can be quite sore on some people. It's also part of my body that I favour because that's where I'm sore. So we're just using thumbs in this instance. And then as I get closer to the armpit, it's just easier for me to slide my hand up and over the shoulder. And then I'm pulling the muscle, but I'm holding her arm. So I've got pressure on my fingers and my thumb together, okay? So, yeah. So I pull my hand up and I'm squeezing her the tricep and her bicep at the same time, and I'm pulling it all the way down. And if you watch, I'm just going to leave you for a sec, Peter. I'll show you. Oh. Come over and watch on Peter. I can't touch it because of the oil I've got on. So when I pull this down on Peter, watch her fingers. You see that? Mm-hmm. That's the tendon, right? They just naturally move because of the pressure under the thumb, okay? So you're wanting that fingers here.
Palm muscle.
You are. Yeah. But it's not so hard that I'm leaving marks on her, and my fingernails aren't really going, they're a little bit pinkish, but they're not white. It's not like, can you see the whiteness? Yeah. That's the difference in the pressure. So it's almost like a gentle lengthening of the muscle kind of thing, all right? Mm-hmm. So just have a go with that, just to see if you can get those fingers moving. My fingers didn't move. Yeah, she didn't even feel it. So what you're doing is you're manipulating the tendon, and they don't even notice. It just feels nice. It's clever, eh?
Yeah.
Almost freaky.
And then
happens on dead bodies too.
Okay, I'll take your word.
Just going to say, I've never seen one of them.
I used to watch lots of forensic science shows.
Yeah,
I do not
do a lot. That was what I wanted to be, and then got married instead.
And then when you get to the hand, it's just nice to hold your fingers under the hand and just use a bit of pressure with the thumbs through the palm, okay? And then just pulling the fingers gently. All right, the next thing I want to show you is what we call kneading. This is kneading. We're using the knuckles to knead and roll. This is really good on legs, not always so easy on the arms, all right? But I just want you to try. And then scooping up over the top of the shoulder and dragging it down, and then kneading up again. Does that feel good? Good. All right, then we're going to do the other arm. Oh, that was a lot of oil. Might just have to put it on your leg there. All right. So again, remember, take the arm off the table. Start at the top of where the arm is, and gently working both sides, both hands, down the forearm. Really scoop your hand around the forearm so the top side and the underside are coated nicely. Oh, done.
I think that's part of my washroom.
How are you feeling today after your rain drop?
Feels lovely.
You sleep all right?
Yeah, I did.
And again, once you've coated it, you're going to use your thumbs starting at the wrist. And it's just this kind of motion going up the arm. What do we call this again? This is petrissage. We're pinching. I'm using the thumb. I can show it on Karen if Karen doesn't mind. We're using the thumb to pinch the body like this. So this here is applying pressure as well. So I'm squeezing, not pinching it to hurt her. I'm just petrissage is that pinching and manipulating of the muscle.
Yeah, it's sort of like kneading it.
It is very much like kneading. Kneading is a form of petrissage.
Oh, yeah. And you go round the.
Feels really yummy.
So this is something else. If you wanted to lengthen out your raindrop to an hour and a half treatment, you could massage and coat the whole body and then do the stones.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a right. There's no, because we're adding it into raindrop potentially, there's no right or wrong way to do that.
It's your luxury one,
It is.
you know, premium luxury
We
rain.
call it hot rainstone, or hot raindrop, or hot drop.
Hot drop.
That's me going over the mountain on the way home.
That's what?
Me going over the mountain on the way home.
And then remembering that when we're coming up, relax. We've always had to do that with you.
Yeah,
It's super helpful. Remembering as you're coming up with the thumbs and you come over the shoulder, bring the hand in underneath and drag down on the muscle. Squeezing. And then do some kneading. So remember the knuckles. Kneading with the knuckles. And remember to pay nice attention to the elbow area. Gets neglected, the old elbow. And as you come up to the armpit, the outside hand will do most of the work. Now, traditional massage is actually taught to massage towards the heart.
Yeah.
I never learnt that way. I actually learnt shamanic massage, pulls away from the heart. You want to be pulling energy out of the energy centres.
That's what this is. The course I'm doing is more away.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Different teachers teach it different ways.
Yeah.
Because I don't believe it's incorrect to massage away from the heart, but I know that in shamanic tradition, they always use the energy centres to pull things out of body. It's just what they did. All right.
And when you're throwing energy, you're throwing it down your fingers and out your fingers.
Correct. And you often will pull. Yeah. Yeah. All right. So now we'll do some hot stone on here. So I'll get your stones. These are going to be hot, guys, so just be mindful.
Don't drop it.
What my bamboo spoons for that I got.
I'm hoping I got one. Was it in your...
No.
Oh,
In my kitchen, I've got this
Oh.
bamboo spoon that's been here for.
They didn't hand me a spoon, so I'm hoping it's in a box.
It'll be in the box, but I thought mine was plastic.
Okay. Not confident that the girl would serve me.
But then,
I'm fairly certain I've established that with you.
It's already in the box.
I'm really glad you gave me that feedback though, because,
She's hopeless.
well, I don't want to be.
Just about anything I ask for, no, we don't have that. And nothing more.
And no explanation as to why.
Nothing so, oh, but we've got this, or it'll be coming in soon, or we can order it for you, or it's just.
what
shit,
happened?
we don't know.
She's the girl worth $12 an hour.
Yes,
right?
she's the other lady was on the computer.
She's good.
And then she looked up and said, oh, well, you can go to them to with somebody's direct and get. I went, oh gosh. You know, like, isn't that what you're supposed to be having here?
Now I always say to the client, I've just got these stones near your head here, so don't move your
Yeah,
arms suddenly.
So the stones near your head.
Left ear.
Because as we've worked out, if you place it on the ground, you can kick it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I did that yesterday.
All right, let's pick up two stones.
Yeah,
Tell me how
so-
they feel. Right, so roll them. This is what rolling is, and put them down. Take the heat on your hands and do a big long sweep. We're introducing the warmth to the body, just with your hands. Pick them up, roll them again. We're taking the heat out of the stones. It's still too hot to hold.
Must be
Oh, and we're doing one effleurage in each section here because it'll take about 4 goes before they'll be warm enough for you to hold. All right? So here we go, section 3. So across the bottom of the lungs. Feels nice. Section 4. They're getting good now. All right, so across the tops of the shoulders, down around the arms. Back into the neck. Okay, now you can pick them up. Notice that you can hold them. They're still hot, but they're not burning you. So now we're going to introduce them to the body. Now, you'll notice that one side's hot in your hands. Flip them as you come around here. Bring them up on their side and flip them over. There you go. Sometimes you'll lose count. Happens to me regularly.
That's when you look at the clock and go, I've got 15 minutes to get the rest of the body done.
And then just as you're coming off, I still slide down either side and then I just slide one hand in front of the other, little space in between. Okay? Picking them up. Roll them. You won't need to roll as many times now, so we're only going to do 3 sections. Taking the hands, starting in not that bottom section, the next one up and pulling up. Picking up the stones. Can you feel how quickly they cool? Yeah. Second section. I actually feel they're cool enough that you can just go straight to the body. So again, long sweep down. And then come up into that 3rd section now. And the trick is to roll as you come to the neck. Bring them up on their side and roll them over in your hands. Now you could use another 2 here if you wanted to. For the purposes of expense, time of yours, I'm recommending only 4 for raindrop, and then 2 more on each arm if you want to, or potentially you could use 1 stone for each arm if you wanted to. Okay?
Where do you put those?
So I'll show you in the palm of the hand.
Oh.
So let's do it with. Let's do it with 1 stone and 1 river stone. I want you to see the difference. I want the person to feel the difference too. You see the difference in the colour straight away. So you can start, think about what you did in your movement with the coating of the arms. And then what we're going to do is just pick up the stones, roll them in your hands, pop them down on the towel, introduce the heat to the arm. Just long sweeping motions. Just 1 effleurage up, then pick the stone up again and roll it. And introduce the heat again. And then pick it up and roll it again. And then you can introduce it to the body.
On stone.
Yep. But it's very hard not to keep 1 stone stationary. So just use 1 if you want. So I'll show you what it looks like with 1. Come over and watch. So we've got the heel of the hand or the palm of the hand pushing the stone up, over and around and under the body. Okay, now I can use both, but when I use both, yeah,
it's a bit difficult.
It is different, okay? And you tend to get stationary with it. The risk of burning them is there. So use the 1 stone. Now I'll show you lift and drag as a part of the hot stone treatment. see is just nice long effleurage movements. We're pushing along. You can do circles here. You can't really, you can knead better on the legs with stones than you can on the arms. So just, you know, you can, you know, if you know someone's got issues, like Mel's got RSI, so this would be a great way to push that fluid around, opening up the veins for her.
So it's really intuitive.
Very. That's what's nice about it.
And that's massage too, isn't it? You sort of.
And then when you've done it, you just pop that there, like that. Okay. And go to the other side. And the thing is, by the time you get to the other side, the stone's cool enough that you can apply it straight away. But it still feels warm for them.
I should have used the river stone first.
Yeah.
You can feel the difference in the temperature.
Yeah.
Now, if this was hot stone, that would be it. Okay? So we're going to leave them on them there now, because I'm going to show you legs. Alright? But that effectively was about an extra half an hour. Okay? By the time you fiddle around, get your stones, you have to break contact. So as long as you maintain your body contact during your raindrop, but then you would say to them, okay, now I'm just going to add the hot stones in for you. So that then they realise you're going to step away, there's going to be noise, they don't have to question what's going on. Because they'll be in that whole nice relaxed state, what are they doing? All right, so I always start with one leg at a time. A professional and modesty type situation is that you only uncover the area that you're working on. All right, otherwise the client always remains covered. And I like to, so if a person's got really large legs, okay, you're going to want to support their leg here and here, and you're just going to say to them, I'm just going to adjust your leg. Now, P's got really skinny legs, so it's not an issue, but I need to show you what it looks like. So they're going to help you in the process, but you say, I'm just going to move your leg open a little bit, and it's just to the edge of the massage table. You don't want it to come so far that it comes off, but it just allows you. And then I just tuck the towel in there because they know I'm still only level with her knees, even though I'm touching that area. It still feels vulnerable because you're in your undies, right? So that's getting pretty high up there. So just be mindful that, okay, I'm just going to tuck that towel there for you so that they know that they're covered. And then what you can do is create an angle like that. All right? Now, get your oil. Because you could be on the table and someone could be going, that feels great because you're on legs as well. Sure, it's going to take a little bit more time though, and it costs a little bit more. No problem, I just want my legs done. All right. So same again, nice oily hands, just going around in a nice big circle, up to the knee and down, a little bit more oil. And then from the knee, go up, and I go to the outside. So I use both hands, but I'll follow the line of the towel. Now if you look, I'm not touching her anywhere private. Her bum cheek's still intact. Her undies are well and truly covering her. But I'm following the inside line because there's three aspects to your hamstring, okay? It runs down like this, down the centre, and off to the side here. So you want to run those lines when you are pulling up and down, okay? So we're going to go up the inside, using the heel of the hand and pulling down around the outside. You can do it with both hands. And I actually use my thumb with my fingers here as I come up, and I'll work across the body pull back down. Okay. So now I want to show you what kneading actually looks like. And when you come down off the foot. This is what we call sandwiching. You can do it with stones too. That's sandwiching. Okay. So this is your kneading. You can get your knuckles so much more involved on the calf muscle, and it feels really nice, and you want to linger at the knee joints but not a great deal of pressure. Okay. So firm but not painful. Thumbs are still engaged in that circular motion, but we've got your knuckles happening there now too. And you can come all the way up to that line where you've created for the towel, and then can you see the way I'm just moving my hand in and around with my knuckles? And you can see the way the muscle gives. And I tend to knead up and pull down. What was that?
No pressure on the leg, Hannah.
So when it comes to sequence of the legs, I like to do 3 strokes in the full effleurage. Then I like to do 3 kneading all the way up and over and pulling down. And then I like to do 3 at the petrissage where I'm pinching either side of the calf muscle, putting pressure across with my thumbs. And I'll do 3 of those as well. Now that's just without the stones. Then you're going to do the same thing with the stones.
So it's effleurage, kneading, and then pinching.
Petrissage.
Yeah. And I'll show you what healing looks like and what scraping looks like as well. Okay. We'll just get the fundamentals down pat first. Yeah. All right. So
This is the whole module of my massage that I'm learning here.
Great. Alright, so I'm going to give you 2 bigger stones now because we are working the legs, but ideally I prefer these stones on the back because I like the weight on the back.
Ones.
Yeah. But it is nice on the leg because the leg, especially the butt, and it's the largest muscle, so the blood flow and the heat gives the release to the lower back, so it's why it's nice to have the big stones on the legs. Beautiful. Good. Okay. Now you're going to use both stones this time. So again, picking them up, rolling them in your hands. Yep, put them down, introduce the heat. Just a nice long effleurage stroke up. Picking it up, rolling it around. Are you noticing how much your hands are now getting used to the heat? It's not as hot the second time.
Yeah.
Effleurage up. And
Just do it until you can comfortably hold
Once
it.
you can comfortably hold it, you know it can slide on their body without burning them. So now, at our 3rd go, I wouldn't introduce the heat without the stones. I'll go with the stones this time,
okay.
all right? Because it's, for me, I can hold that. So then I'm going to up, down, around, up together, over the outside of the thigh, down, and a 3rd one, up, outside of the thigh, but I come back into the inside of the thigh as I pull back. So this is a type of sandwiching here. You can see the way I'm squeezing the muscle. Yep. Rolling it. Now I'm going to do kneading. And you can even come up on the sides of the stones. And I still pull all the way down with a little bit of a sandwich, kneading up again. I want to use the flat of the stone this time. Just roll it around in your hand, make it feel different for them Because effectively what they're feeling is not so much the movement of the stone but the heat from the stone.